Hey everybody, it is Greyhound. Welcome to the channel. So, thought I better get on here and do a little actual content instead of just contests. So today I want to talk about gutting, and I want to talk about the why, when, and how of gutting. So, let's just get into it. Let's see here. Got to get the right tools out. Oh yeah, that's good and sharp. Oh, sorry, wrong kind of gutting. And we'll put that one away for another time. I don't think YouTube would like that kind of gutting video. All right, I had to try and throw a little humor in there. Sorry, guys. I know that was bad. That was rough. That was horrible. Okay, what did I do? Man, I left them. Oh well, we'll make it work with what I've got. So let's talk about lock gutting. So for me, the first time around that I did any of this was with this little practice lock I got from, get a little more light on the subject here. Hey, there we go, that's better. From Sparrows. It's one of their pin replaceable opens. You can see what you're doing. Locks. I had also bought their repinning kit. So with this kit, it came with two of the little mats, a little tool, bunch of extra parts, different keyways to put in this thing to play with it. So this was the first one that I ever gutted. And this is I believe, a Schlag style keyway. So you have to have this special fancy, get up there and get to focus on it, keyed tool in order to come in and do this. And then this is also your plug follower. So this was the only lock that I had a plug follower for. Other than that, like for one of these American locks, the keyway in this plug follower does not work. So the first time I went to do my video for this one, I didn't have a plug follower. I didn't have shims. I didn't have any of these things that everybody says you need to have. I did that one with a AAA battery. Loads of fun. It was a good time. So anyway, let's talk about what people mean when they talk about gutting a lock. So gutting a lock means removing the core, and that allows you then to remove your pins, springs, and remove a little bit of everything that is down inside of that lock so that you can do a multitude of things. You can repin it, put different pins in. Like I said, with the Sparrows, it came with different keys and different pins. And then they also came with a bunch of different types of pins that I can put in the lock. These are chess piece pins. So that's what you would do if you were to want to customize a lock into something else. So that's kind of what gutting is. Now, as to why you would ever want to gut a lock, well, I just showed you one reason. In order to change pins out, to customize it. If you wanted to build your own challenge lock, customize a lock that way, that's one reason that you would want to gut it. Another reason might be, so here's my Pack Lock 90A Pro. I've been working on learning to pick this thing for quite a while, and it has been absolutely beating me up. So I took this apart, gutted the lock. I removed pins from that. So if I open up this little pin tray, I'm going to be extra careful here. Here you can see 2 pins, springs. So this is for stacks 6 and 7 in that lock. So what I did is what is called progressive pinning. Because I just wasn't getting anywhere with this lock, I gutted the lock, pulled all the pins out. Then I put back pins stacks 1 and 2, put the lock back together. Worked on picking 1 and 2 so I could kind of get a feel for what the pins feel like, because man, it's completely different here versus the American 1100. Then I went to 3, then to 4. Now I'm currently picking this at a 5-pin level, and getting pretty decent opens actually. A little bit of a plug. Best thing I found so far, best pick that I have for this so far, is my dog leg picks. this profile. That just really is letting me get in there, get behind those pins, and just lightly tap and touch them. The feedback is great. You know, I got to brag them up a little bit. But from what I'm seeing, man, it works great on this lock. So I'm almost to the point where I'm ready to stick in pin stack 6 to this lock. Start working with that. Then I'll go on to 7. Then I'll move on to some other American locks as well. So let me just grab a screwdriver and let's talk about the how. So you can either pick the lock open or open it with your key. For the purpose of this video, I will do it with a key. Now, if you look down in, you probably can't see down in there. Let's see if I grab you. So you can see down inside that lock, there is a Phillips screwdriver head. Some locks have that. This one uses an Allen wrench. You can usually tell if it has this type of a base. You have this plug cap here. You're going to be able to get that lock. I think grab a key from this lock and let's check out this one. I think this one is, no, that one is not guttable either. Thought that it was. But there are different styles, but generally if you look down your hole and you see the wrench or screw head, you're going to be able to get that lock. So let's open this baby up. So there you have your parts that are holding it in. Now here you can see there is actually your lock core. Now I decided to do the American lock because not everything then falls out. The pack locks, when you open that one up, your ball bearings will come out, so you have to put your ball bearings back in and you put it back together, all that fun stuff. Now I have since, I got a hold of 44 Delta and I bought their plug set, multitude of different sizes of plugs. For the American 1100, it is the smallest one in his collection in there. Now, on the bottom, the one thing I don't have is for removing these C-clips. Get it focus. There is a C-clip around the back side of that lock core that you have to remove. I found just using my finger to hold it and clip on with a pick, I'm able to pull that out. There, now we removed the C-clip from the back of the lock. Next, I will put the key in the lock. Now, one thing to pay attention to is on the back of the lock, you see this little part that sticks out here, this heel. When you go to run your core, if I were to take it just like this and run the core through, as you can see, that is off to the side here. I run the risk of all of my pins dropping down. That's why I put the key in, and I'll turn it a little bit in that direction. So now I can run it in, and it's going to be up against the top end. And again, don't run it with your notch that's cut. Matching that, offset that as you run that through. Let me get the right one. Or in this case, I will use the side that doesn't have it. I'm going to try that side because I see people gutting them that way. So I want to see how that works this time. And you'll just put that in and make sure that you hold a little bit of pressure on this core so it doesn't take off and slide on you. And just slowly push things through. And there we are. Now, here we have the actual core. And there, as you see, as I move it, you can see all those different pins moving. That's the pin stack in this lock. So now I'm going to slowly remove the key, because if you remove it too fast, you can send those flying. And let's drop some pins out. 1, 2, 3, come on, 4, and 5. I forgot to bring down my good tweezers. So if you buy tweezers that are made for doing this, they actually have notches at the back end so that they really grip the pin properly. I have a set of those that came with that Sparrows kit. They are very nice, very easy to use. All right, so next challenge is to take this and you will slowly bring it back. I'm going to let the first pin pop a little bit. And there you can see, full focus, there you can see the pin sticking up out of this hole inside of there. So now I can use my tweezers, maybe, if these tweezers are going to work, and I can lift that out. Now, that's coming from the back side, no, front side, so that would be pin 1. That's the other thing to make sure of is which end is what on your lock. Pin 2, that one wasn't sticking up far enough for me to grab it. Three. Whoa, that one came alive. Almost lost it. 4. That one threw the spring out and everything, so we'll just put that there. Or maybe not. Whew. 4 and 5. Now, once I have all of those out, if you want to go this far, or if you have like one that dropped out like I just did, you can pull the pins, or springs as well. You will do that. That way I can show you all of it. A nice little neat package, what it looks like. So now, there is the rest of the lug empty. This top side that your pins and your springs are going to go into, that is called the Bible of the lock. I'm going to move this stuff to the side, and I'll bring this up. Have to focus a little bit on those. There we go. There are the pins that are within this lock. Every lock has pins along these lines. Of course, there are many different variations and styles of pins. It's crazy what you've got up there for pins. But there you go. That is the gutting of a lock. And like I said, you can do that for a multitude of reasons. So that you can see what's going on inside of the lock, so that you can remove certain pins, put it back together without those, so that you can do your thing. Another thing that you can do, I'm going to drop these pins back in the keyway, and I'll show you something that was shown to me by, I believe it was Nickvit, that helped me out quite a bit on a lock I was fighting with. Oh, see, this is why it's nicer to have the proper tweezers, because having that grooved or end that hooks onto them, they don't swing around like that. It holds them in place. So now what I can do, take the key back out, and I'm going to drop in all of the pins. Oh, man, these tweezers do make it tough. I'm going to take these at some point. I'm going to try and bend the ends and make a set of proper. These are actually very nice tweezers. They just kind of suck here. All right, almost there. So now what I've done is I've put all the pins in. And here you can see them. And by doing that, I'm able to look at this and see how much lift they have to do on each pin. So as you can see, this first pin, that thing's way down there. So I'm going to have to really lift that one high. Second pin, sticking way out. 1, maybe 2 clicks, and that pin's going to be out. Third, fourth, fifth, on down the line. So you can kind of get an idea of what to expect as you're picking that lock based on these the pin arrangement and where they sit and how they sit. All right, and one. Let's see if I can get you. No. Oh, I almost got you. There, I got you. Whew. That was tough because that one is really recessed in. All right, so now we need to reassemble that lock. And you need to make sure you keep an eye on or remember which side is the front and which is the back. Because otherwise, it's not going to line up with your holes. And if you did forget, you can always set your core back in, put it in, and look and see if all of your holes line up properly. If they do, you're going the right direction. So now I know pin 1 will be at this end, pin 5 down at this end. So now I am going to use this end of the tool just because I happen to like that a little better. I got to turn this around because I'm a lefty. So I have to drop my springs in the holes first. And I just use the plug follower when I do that, just to help me keep track of which one I'm working on. Oh my word. Another thing that I do is I use a separate light, like this neck light that I happen to have, because that lets me see more down in there with my old ancient eyes. What the heck is going where? There's pin 3. Not pin, but spring. 4. Some of these springs just look nasty. They're just about wore out. Oh, good grief. Alright, I'm going to turn it around and drop 5 in there. I need to replace pins or springs because this spring is all but shot. See, and those true tweezers for this help with that as well because they hold on to those springs a whole lot better. Alright, so actually, let me take you all the way through. I'm going to do pins 4 and pin 5. 4. So what you do is you drop that in, and then you'll use your tweezers to push it down into the hole and slide the plug follower in over it. And that will hold everything in place for you. Pin 5. Same thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'll slide this through and I'll bring it back. I have 3 to do, so I know I can expose 3 holes. Don't slide it too far or you may send pins flying across your room. And in the case of my room, that would be a bad deal. It's a mess. I'd never find that pin. All right, and the last one goes in. And there we go. So now, again, remember your collar on that core. Make sure you turn that. And now you're going to be pushing the core while holding a little bit of tension on the plug follower, just to make sure it doesn't go crazy on you. And there we are. Turn it in. There, locked. Put the key in, and there I can open the lock. All right, I'm going to pull the key back out because that will lock everything in place. Grab my clip. Put the clip on. There we go. We are good. I can shut these off now. Back to normal lighting. Drop my core in. Now, some locks are slightly harder to do than others. So you'll have to keep that in mind. And if you have actually stuck with me this long, that is awesome. Glad to hear it. This is probably one of the longer videos I think I've ever done. And there you go. Lock us back together. The process as far as getting the core out and what you encounter inside the core may differ depending on locks. Like I said, this one, when you pull the core, the ball bearings can fall out. Sometimes they'll stay in place as long as you're really careful with the lock, but they may fall out. You also have to pay attention to that, put those back in place. Other locks operate a little bit differently as well. But there you go. There is the basics for doing that. I also have a giveaway going on my channel right now. If you have not subscribed and put in an entry for that, you should. I'll put a link in the description of this video to the entry video there. I have a really nice pile of giveaway items. I guess the one thing that I should have shown, and I didn't even think about it because I've never used them, are shims. Again, depending on the lock, these can be extremely important. That first step before you put your plug follower through, you turn your key and you would slide this in through. And that way, when you put your plug follower back through, this will stay in and that'll help hold everything in place. And then after you have your plug follower in place, then you can remove that again. But that just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit safer, a little less risk of launching everything all the way across the room. So there you go, guys. That's what I had for you on gutting. Why, when, and how. Hopefully some of you find some of that a little bit helpful. Some of you have probably done that a million times already, so it's no big deal and you won't think twice about it. But it is what it is. It's fun. It's exciting. It's really exciting when you have a mishap and all your pins go falling everywhere, and then you have to figure out what order they were in that lock. The driver pins, which the ones up in the top in the Bible, they're not as critical. You can kind of put those in any order. You're just going to change the feel of the lock when you're opening it. The key pins are what's important, and you can figure out where those go. Maybe I'll do a video at some point showing how to, if they all fell apart, how to figure out what way they go. But I'll put links, like I said, for my giveaway in the video. Check it out. There's a lot of good stuff. Also, I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow. I have that on my site. I'll put that on the bottom as well. If you're able to join me, hopefully I'll have some other people that'll be hopping in with me as well. We'll have some good talks about locks and whatever else triggers anybody or trips their fancy, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right, everybody, that's what I've got. We will catch you later. Bye.